Although Tower of God definitely is not a fighting webtoon, it certainly does have some amazing fights within it that I think really do go underappreciated by pretty much just all fans of webtoons and manga and anime in general. And I feel like this video would be really good to kind of shed some light on those fights. So today I'm going to be ranking the top 5 best fights in Tower of God. Real quickly before I get into it, if you enjoy Tower of God content, you are in the right place. This channel has tons of it. If at any point throughout this video you're watching it and you're enjoying it, definitely be sure to leave a like. Let's get this video to 100 likes. That would be really cool. And this video does feature DJ Milez, who is a YouTuber who creates Tower of God content. He also creates Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man content on his main channel, but he recently just launched a Tower of God exclusive channel. That channel definitely deserves a lot of love. He puts mad effort, and his videos are really good. I'd highly recommend them. It's gonna be the first link in the description, and yeah, let's get into the ranking. So coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Kunron versus Inieta. This fight was fantastic. I do not think it was, it belongs above the other fights on this list, simply because it just wasn't as hyped up as those fights. As you'll see, a lot of the other fights on this list have combatants that have been hyped for a much longer amount of time than Inieta was. But I mean, it's a Kunron fight, so there's just hype, by default. And additionally, we did see Inieta just beat Rak, which definitely added on to the tension of that fight because, Rak's no scrub. I think my favorite part about this fight was the cool plot twist that made you feel like Inieta was actually the underdog this entire time, because he was pretty much isolated throughout his life because he wasn't a part of the main branch of the Lopopia family. And that concept is something that it has been explored in Tower of God, but I think in this fight it was really heavily accentuated and it was done very well. And it really portrayed Ran's character in a good light as well, because we get to see his true nature, how yes, he is gifted, he is blessed, he is born with this prestige, yet he doesn't care. He doesn't allow it to get to his head. He is arrogant because he's just naturally like that. If he was a peasant, he would have that same arrogance. And it's just a really rare thing in general to have the readers cheer for the character that was born with more prestige and privilege. And I think SIU handled it really well. And he made it seem like Inieta's hatred towards Ran for being a part of this main family was definitely unjustified, which reaffirms the reader's decision to cheer for Ran. And I think another thing about this fight was at the time it was happening, this was peak Tower of God art. I can't think of any time before this where we had art this good. The art and choreography in this fight were peak Tower of God fighting, especially with the choreography when we had the Arie swordsmanship, which is probably one of the coolest fighting techniques I've read in a while, because the blade is completely unpredictable. And we have Kunron using the most Chad strategy, which is like, yeah, just let it hit you so you know where it is. Like, it's actually insane, man. Like, if the sword is in you, then you know where the sword is, It's just that stupid logic that I think actually does work and actually makes sense somehow. And it's just really cool to see Ran employing that strategy. And we get a little bit of him, using Mashini style techniques. And, it does have lore implications as well. I think overall this fight is very well rounded. It has pretty much everything that you'd want from a fight in the series. It was also very high stakes because of Ran's usage of the lightning pills. And I think it was really interesting how Inieta accepted his death. Most villains are just cocky till the very end, but Inieta was just like, nah, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna fight tooth and nail in my death, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And I just thought that was really cool. Next up, we have Yama versus Yasraja. And this fight was just a total Chad match, if I'm being honest. It was really cool to see the primitive nature of both of these combatants. It really was like beast versus beast, and we've never really had a fight like that in Tower of God. We actually got to learn a lot more about their history that they have with each other, which is actually quite complex, and it was really cool to see both of them constantly transforming. And it felt like we as readers were just as shocked as Yama to see Yasraja's true strength, and that I think is the most underrated aspect of this fight. We have Yama constantly using all these crazy transformations, and we're thinking like, holy crap, this guy is really strong. And then we have Yasraja just like, oh yeah, by the way, I can do that too, and mine is like way stronger. So it's like, dude, none of us ever expected Yasraja to be that strong. And then especially the moments when Yama was like, he was realizing it, like as the readers were realizing it, like, holy crap, I have no chance. And he started shaking, he started to get this like irregular heartbeat, and he was like, what is this feeling? I've never felt it before. And then the readers and Yama both at the same time realize, wait, I'm experiencing fear for the very first time in my life. I don't know. I thought that was so well done, how Yama's emotions were really like captured by the reader as well. I thought that was really cool. I don't really have too much to say about it. It was just a total Chad match. Really cool transformations, really cool choreography, really good art like always. And this is season 3, so we're experiencing like, again, like S tier levels of art and choreography. And it was just a great fight. Coming in at number 3, we have Kunron versus Anak Jihad. I can break it down for you, but let's just be real, I'm kind of trash. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the baton to DJ Miles.
Kunron and Anak Jihad. You have two talented combatants, one with the blood of Jihad, even if it is mixed, versus an up-and-coming, talented, gifted individual from the Kun family. Anak had overall raw strength, which is lethal, especially at close combat, but Kunron had an array of skill-diverse techniques, which, if I had to pick one over the other, it would definitely be the latter. In the workshop battle, you see Kunron consume the lightning pill, and sure, Anak fans, if he didn't consume it, Anak would win 1v1, but that's not how the game works in Tower of God, and all of you should know that by now. In any case, the choreography in the fight was incredible. Seeing the many Machini-inspired attacks from Ran was a visual treat, and despite the lightning pill drawbacks, Kunron caused one of the biggest upsets we've seen thus far in the story, a non-ranker body Anak effortlessly. Let's not also forget, if it was a battle to the death, Ran would have won since he purposely avoided her heart. Yet, I will give Anak some credit for getting up over and over. Her durability is insane. Many fans within the series love how the fight concluded comedically, but personally, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Perhaps SIU didn't want to embarrass Anak with a decisive victory from Kunron, but I don't think that really would have been a problem, because come on, can anyone tell me what that damn irrelevant pickle Pericule have contributed to the story besides being worthless?
Yo, tell me why this dude just hopped on my video and spit straight facts for a minute straight. I honestly agree with every single thing he said here. I also didn't like the ending, but you know, some of the memes that have spawned from it are kind of funny. Sometimes. Nah, not really. Kind of just ruined the fight. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Bomb versus Kaiser. Oof, man, this fight is so good. This fight is fundamentally different from all other Tower of God fights because it focuses more on moveset, which is really interesting. Most characters don't really have that good of a moveset, I'm gonna say, except for like Bomb, maybe Kun when he has like some of his tools out, but in general, it's mostly like the fighting is not super complex in this series. It's mostly focused on, again, like the emotions and the connections between the characters in the conflict. But this fight, it had some of that, but it was mostly focused on the movesets of the combatants and how they played with each other like physically, which is very, very different than most of the other fights. And it really worked, man. I really want to see more fights like this. In addition to the focus being placed on the moveset, a big focus was placed on what the moveset is, because Kaiser's abilities were hidden for like the entire arc, and including those major plot twists of what her abilities are in the fight was just, it was brilliant, and it really made the fight that much more engaging. Because I remember that Iniesta was actually telling Ron of Kaiser's abilities, and he was like, yeah, this ability, you gotta watch out for this one. If Viol gets hit by this ability, he's dead. And then it cuts to Bomb getting hit by the ability, and then it cuts back to Iniesta like, yeah, this ability is impossible to get out of. And then Bomb is like, you know, in it, trapped in it. And it's just really cool, man. I really enjoyed how that was written. It's kind of like corny, but I think it really did work for the fight. And let's just be real, this is the elephant in the room. Kaiser's abilities were really cool. She had the invisible inventory, which is sick. She had the ability to teleport with her wolf, which is kind of like Sasuke's Amanota Jikara ability, if you're familiar with that. And her wolf anima was Fenrir. Dude, that's sick. If you don't know, Fenrir is the wolf who killed Odin in Norse mythology. Now, I'm not going to nerd out on Norse mythology too much right now. I'm not really too knowledgeable on it anyways, but I do intend on making a video breaking down the mythology of Fenrir and kind of like contextualizing it within Tower of God. I think that'll be pretty cool. For now, it's just cool that that was even included. I freaked out when I saw that. It's good because although this fight did focus more on moveset and choreography and strategy, it also still did have that emotional connection between the combatants because Bomb saw himself in Elaine in her situation and he genuinely wanted to help her by beating her to a pulp. You know what I'm saying? Bam's hands are rated E for everyone. My boy said light skin style, Chris Brown no jutsu. So before I get into the number 1 spot, I actually have 15 honorable mentions that I'm going to go into great detail about. So the first one is...
Come here. Shut your stupid ass up.
Nah, I'm just kidding. At the number 1 spot, we have Bomb versus Data Jihad. This fight is the culmination of Bomb's entire character arc up until that point. Of course, as all of these fights on this list, it had great art and choreography, but I think this fight is the only fight to check all the boxes of what makes a great fight and go far and beyond and exceed it. Let me explain. The main character learning new abilities mid-fight. Check. The most hype villain in the entire series as the antagonist of the fight. Check. The best transformation in the entire series with Bomb. Check. It's just that good, man. I think this fight is one of the greatest fights in all of manga and webtoons in general, if I'm being honest. Because Bomb throughout the entire webtoon was somebody who was unsure of himself, who very much saw life through the lenses of other people and not through his own lens. And upon the experiences that he had in the tower, and upon meeting Jihad himself, who was the result of a path that Bomb could easily go down, Bomb started to think more about himself and realize who he truly was. And at that moment in the fight, he finally saw life through his own personal lens, which really unlocked so much more potential for him, both mentally and physically. And I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. Just a great fight overall, and it's the best fight in Tower of God, in my opinion. And yeah, that's about it for the ranking. Let me know your ranking down below in the comments. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say about it. If we could get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the world to me. I would really appreciate it. So definitely leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. DJ Mal's Tower of God channel will also be linked in the description. He's going to be posting a ton of content on there, so definitely be sure to check it out. And also one last thing, we're about to hit 500 subscribers, so any contributions to that number would be greatly appreciated. I would really love to have you join my Tower of God community that I've been growing. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys in the next Tower of God video. Peace out.